Greetings, math fans. All right, so today's lesson is going to be really just called special cases. Okay, and a special case is really when we have undefined and a zero slope. Okay, we've talked about that many times. Okay, so let's just start out. Let's write this. So when m is undefined, or when m equals 0. That's really what we're talking about today. And we got then some other things too, but that's like the main part. So these are actually, I'm going to write a couple words here. Easy and BAM. Okay, and what do you guys remember about BAM problems? BAM problems are y equals a number or x equals a number. It's really, really easy. Okay, so let's just start out talking about this stuff here. If I told you the slope is undefined, and I told you it passes through negative 6, 2, don't you guys agree that undefined is x equals? Okay, well the key here is, what does x equal? Well, here, this is the x coordinate, isn't it? So the answer is x equals negative 6. Oh, I'm done with the problem. That's it. Okay, if I actually graph this, just to show you, negative 3, 4, 5, negative 6, 2 is right here. Do you agree with that? And if I told you the slope is undefined, don't you guys agree that it's a vertical line? And what's the equation of that vertical line? You guys should look at this and say, oh, a vertical line x equals, well, what does it pass through? It passes through negative 6. But the only thing you have to do is you just have to look at that x coordinate. That's it, math fans. It's so easy. So here's try another one. M is equal to 0, and it passes through the point negative 6, 4. What does that mean, man? As soon as you see a 0 slope, that's BAM. It's a BAM problem. It's a fast problem. So, and then you should say, oh, 0 slope, y equals. Okay, that you got to know that. You got to know that m, when it's 0, it's a y equals because it's a vertical line, or it's a horizontal line, right? 0 slope. And if it's a undefined, it's a vertical line. Get those two straight here. Okay, but anyway, this one, y equals 4, right? See the 4 there? That's it, man. Y equals 4. That's so fast. It's so easy. There's no work at all. You don't need to put it in point slope form first. There's not really a point slope form or a slope intercept for BAM problems. It's just x equals a number and y equals a number. Okay? So easy. So slope is undefined, and it passes through the point 0, negative 7. As soon as you see that word, it's a BAM problem, x equals. Well, what does x equal? 0. Done with the problem. The same point. Slope is 0, and it passes through the point 0, negative 7. Well, it's y equals. Well, what does y equal? Negative 7. So easy. So easy. So easy. Okay? And anything else is like normal. So let's just review real quickly. If I told you it passes through the point negative 3, 2, and the slope was 2/3. Okay? Remember, point slope is y minus y1, so y minus 2 equals slope m times x minus x1. So x minus negative 3. That's plus. So it's y minus 2 equals 2/3 times x plus 3. That's point slope form. And then slope intercept is just solving for y. So y minus 2 equals 2/3 x, right? Distribute that times, well, we want to do it on the side here, 2/3 times 3/1. The 3's cancel, and we get just 2. So 2/3 x plus 2. We add 2 to both sides. So y equals 2/3 x plus 4. Now I want to just show you graphing this, how these are going to give you the same graph. Okay, I'm We'll put over the graph right over here just so you have both equations. I want you guys to understand point slope form is super easy to graph. Actually, they're both super easy to graph. First of all, point slope form means you plot the point first. So plot first. Kind of like the slope-intercept form. Don't you always plot the y-intercept and then you deal with the slope after that? It's the same idea. So let's plot -3, 2, right here. And then this is second. The slope is 2/3. So from that point, you go up 2, and over 1, 2, 3. You plot another point. And that's your graph. Okay? Now, well, I'm going to do this in red just to show you it's the exact same point. This guy right here. What are you going to do plot first? You're going to plot the 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it happens to be the same point. And then what do? You go up 2 and over 3. So let's extend this a little bit more here. And extend it over here. So we're going to say up 2 and over 1, 2, 3. There we go. Same line. Okay, so it's easy to graph either one of those. Point slope is really the easiest form in the world because you're given a point, you're given a slope, you plug it in, and you come up with an equation. Slope-intercept form, you got to do a little extra work because you got to solve for y. Okay, but that's pretty much it. All right, so let's talk about one additional thing here. Okay, and it's word parallel and perpendicular. So let's discuss those words. Parallel. Well, if you think of parallel, don't you think of two lines that are kind of next to each other, right? They never touch each other. So if I think of slope, if I told you this line, the slope of this line is, let's say it's 1/2 of the first line. So let's make this a red line. Okay, so if that's equal to 1/2, what can you tell me about the slope of the black line? Okay, isn't the slope the same because doesn't it have the same angle and everything? So that's the deal. Parallel means same slope. Okay, parallel means same slope. That's pretty easy. Okay, that's very important. So let's do a problem where we're going to use that word. All right. So the wording I'm going to use for your homework is I'm going to say write an equation parallel to the line y equals 3x plus 4 and passes through -1, 4. Okay, math fans, this is almost the same stuff as we did before. Because what did I do before? Didn't I give you a point and didn't I give you a slope? Well, this is almost the same thing. If you see the word parallel, that's a really key word. Parallel means same slope. So it's the same slope of this line. Well, what's the slope of this line? Don't you guys agree that the slope is 3? So now my problem, this is really my new problem. M equals 3, the slope is 3, and it passes through the point -1, 4. Well, this is what I taught you day 1. Okay, where you're given a slope and you're given a point and you come up with an equation. So I can write it in point slope form. This is going to be y minus 4 equals m times x minus a negative 1. Okay? So you get y minus 4 equals 3 times x plus 1. There you go. That's point slope form. And then if I ask you for slope intercept form, and always be aware of what I'm asking for. Okay? Because if I ask you for slope intercept form, you give me point slope form, you're going to lose points for it. Okay? So you got to make sure you always give me the correct form. All right, so let's distribute. So y minus 4 equals 3x plus 3, and then add 4 to both sides. So y equals 3x plus 7. There we go. Okay, that is your slope-intercept form. Okay, it's pretty easy, but look for the words. It's super easy. Look for those words parallel to that line. Now I'm going to make it a little more challenging by doing this. I'm going to tell you, again, it's parallel to 2x plus 3y equals 12. And it passes through 4 comma negative 1. And now, this is the deal. You're given it in this form here. Okay, that is not the form we wanted, because if I see the word parallel, I have to think same slope. Well, how do you figure out the slope of this line? Well, the only way to do it is you need to solve for y. Right? That's the only way to figure out the slope of the line. So what we're going to do is let me just write it out here. 2x plus 3y equals 12. I can subtract 2x from both sides. You guys should be really good at this. So 3y equals negative 2x plus 12, and then divide by 3. So you get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. Now that's only just to get the word parallel, so we can pull off a slope. That's the only reason we did that. So my new problem is my slope is negative 2/3, and my point is 4 negative 1. Okay? And this is a little nasty to put in slope intercept, so I'm just going to say find point slope form. So I'm going to ask point slope. That is so easy. Y minus a negative 1 equals negative 2/3 times x minus 4. So y plus 1 equals negative 2/3 parentheses x minus 4. Okay, done with the problem. Y plus 1 equals negative 2/3 parentheses x minus 4. All right, so remember, if you see the word parallel, you pull the slope off. That's all you're doing. You pull the slope off that equation, and then it's like the old days where you put it in point slope form or y-intercept form. Okay, but that's all you're doing. You got to solve for y first in order to do that. Okay, and now let's talk about the word parallel. Or sorry, perpendicular. Perpendicular. Perpendicular means two lines come together and they form a right angle. Okay, that's what perpendicular is. So like the corner of a room is perpendicular because one side is perpendicular to the other to form the corner. So perpendicular is at a right angle. So this is important for the slope of a perpendicular line. The slope is of two lines that are opposite, which means you change the sign, and it's also the reciprocal, which is you flip the fraction. Okay? So those are two important things to understand. Okay? You change the sign and you flip the fraction. Okay, you got to know that. Two important things. Okay, so let's do a couple examples here. If I told you the slope is negative 2/3, and it's perpendicular to a slope of what? Well, again, opposite, so that means you change the sign, so it's positive. So I'll just put a plus here, even though we usually don't put a plus. And you flip the fraction, so positive 3/2. That's easy. Slope is equal to 4. Perpendicular means the slope is negative. You flip the fraction, 4/1, you get negative 1/4. Okay? Pretty easy. Try a couple more. M is equal to negative 5/7. Perpendicular. M equals positive 7/5. Slope is 1. How do you flip around 1? Isn't it the same thing? 1/1 is still 1. So it's perpendicular to negative 1. Okay, that's actually kind of a weird one, but you got to know that. So you flip the fraction and you change the sign. Okay, so let's actually start out with a problem here. I'm going to tell you, and this is the symbol for perpendicular, by the way. So it's perpendicular to y equals 2x minus 7, and it passes through the point of negative 4 comma 1. So the first thing you're going to do, math fans, is you're going to pull off the slope. So I'm going to pull this guy off right here, and I know it's perpendicular, so my new slope is now, instead of 2/1, it's 1/2, but it's negative. That's important. So it's negative 1/2. And negative 4 comma 1. Now this is like from day one. I'm giving you a point and a slope. So let's put it in point slope form. So y minus 1 equals negative 1/2 times x plus 4. That's point slope form. Okay, you're done with that problem. And then if I want to put slope intercept form, so it's point slope. Slope intercept is going to be y minus 1. I'm going to distribute that. X, and then it's negative 1/2 times 4/1. It gives me a 1 and a 2, so it's minus 2. And we add 1 to both sides, so you get y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1. That's slope intercept form. Okay? So you got to look for the key words. Parallel means opposite reciprocal. Parallel means same slope. Perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. Got to know that. Perpendicular, opposite reciprocal, parallel, same. And as opposed to trying to just memorize those words, just think parallel. If I'm running parallel to you, I'm running the exact same slope as you. Okay, perpendicular is a little weird because you do have to remember opposite and reciprocal. But parallel is so easy; it's the exact same slope. So if I give you a slope, you use the same slope. Okay, so let's try another one here. It's parallel to 5x plus 2y equals 16. So remember, I got to pull the slope off of here, so I have to solve for y, okay? Because I need the slope. So I'm going to subtract 5x. So I get 2y is equal to negative 5x plus 16. Oh, I didn't tell you. It's perpendicular to this, and it passes through the point 5 comma negative 2. Okay, I definitely need to tell you the point. Okay, so let's keep solving for y. So y equals negative 5/2 x plus 8. Well, I need the slope off here, guys. So do you guys agree the slope is negative 5/2? Okay, but it's got to be perpendicular to that. So if it's perpendicular to that, it's going to be, you flip the fraction, 2/5, and make it positive. So my slope is 2/5. So now you're given a slope and a point, or here it's a point and a slope. Okay, let's write it out. So it's y minus a negative 2 equals x, or equals slope times x minus 5. So y plus 2 equals 2/5 times x minus 5. That's your point slope form. you're done with that. Slope-intercept form, distribute. So y plus 2 equals 2/5 x. It's 2/5 times -5/1. That's a 1 and a -1, so we get -2. And we subtract 2 from both sides, and we get over here y equals 2/5 x minus 4. Okay, that's it. And of course, it doesn't matter which one we plot. If we plot this one or this one, we get the exact same answer. Okay, all right. Sometimes it can look a little scary. Let's just do one more here. If I said it's perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x minus 73 and 2/5, and it passes through the point -4 comma -2, and you're like, oh, whatever, man, what are you doing, Mr. Curvis? 73 and 2/5, there's no way I'm going to deal with that. Guys, have I ever used the y-intercept when I did a problem like this? What is the only thing I used? The only thing I used was the slope. I don't care what the y-intercept is. I'm just concerned about that slope. So my slope is perpendicular to 1/2, so that means my new slope is the reciprocal, which is 2, and it's negative. So here we go, math fans. That's it. It's a slope of 2, and it goes to the point -4, -2. So let's write it out. Y plus 2. Notice I did, this is really minus -2, equals slope -2 times x plus 4, which is really x minus -4. Anyway, that's point slope form right there. And then slope intercept, y plus 2 equals -2x minus 8, and subtract 2. So y equals -2x minus 10. And that is perpendicular. Okay, opposite reciprocal. I mean, you could tell the final answer here, math fans. Look at that. 1/2 and -2. It's really easy. Okay, so that's pretty much it, math fans. That's talking about creating point slope form, and just putting it in the special cases. So we have special cases where it's undefined and 0 for the slope, and then of course talking about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. All right, that's it, math fans. Have a great day. Adios. Goodbye.